Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. I sensed something was wrong the moment I heard laughter behind a closed office door. Her laughter, the kind that used to belong only to us. It was late, 9:47 p.m. The building was nearly empty, except for the floor where my wife, Sarah, was supposedly wrapping up a campaign. I had the idea to surprise her with takeout, something warm, thoughtful. But when I reached her office, I froze. Through the frosted glass, I could make out two figures sitting far too close. Her body leaned toward him, his angled toward her. Their voices were soft, but the gentle giggles leaked through anyway. I stood there with the food cooling in my hands, listening. Then I heard him. If your husband knew how lucky he has no idea. There was a pause. Tom, don't, she whispered, quiet but not forceful. He chuckled. If you were mine, I wouldn't waste a second. Something inside me didn't shatter completely, just cracked enough of the pain to seep through. I didn't step inside. I turned and walked away. Sat in my car for what felt like forever, watching the light from her office window, watching her silhouette shift, his hand graze her arm, and my certainty dissolve. When she came home later, I pretended to sleep. She kissed my forehead softly, guilt written across her face. I wanted to turn and demand answers, but I stayed still, pulse hammering. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened. Coffee, keys, a quick goodbye. But something had changed unmistakably. I couldn't let the doubt fester. So I watched. She had a company gala coming up, and Tom was listed as her partner on the project. I told her I had plans that night. In truth, I parked across the street, observing from a distance. She wore a deep blue dress, the one I had chosen for an anniversary dinner. And there he was, standing just a little too close, his hand resting at the small of her back longer than necessary. I took photos, not for evidence to confront her, but to remind myself I hadn't imagined any of it. I gave her space to come clean, asking casually about Tom. There was a brief pause, too short for anyone else to notice. But not me. Oh, Tom? He's just focused on work. Why? Just curious, I said with a smile. Inside, I was quietly drowning. Over time, the pieces added up, messages erased from her phone, but still visible on her smartwatch. Calendar notes for dinners that never existed. A faint scent of cologne I had never worn. One morning, her phone buzzed on the counter. When she stepped out, a preview flashed across the screen. Tom, last night was unreal. Can't get you out of my head. I stayed calm as I opened the messages. Dozens of exchanges, teasing, flirting, confessions. My heart didn't shatter. It froze. I didn't confront her yet. Tom believed I was oblivious. I wanted him to underestimate how much I saw. I worked in cybersecurity for a financial firm. Finding Tom's mistakes didn't take long. Fake expense logs, padded invoices, unapproved client charges. I organized every piece meticulously and waited. 2 weeks later, Sarah told me she was flying out for a client weekend with Tom. I kissed her goodbye at the gate, watched her disappear, then drove straight to HR at her company. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I simply handed them the files. 3 days later, Tom's career imploded. Suspended, then terminated. His reputation in the industry obliterated. When Sarah returned home, she looked pale, shaken. They suspended Tom. They're investigating. Someone tipped them off, she said. I looked her in the eyes. Someone did. I replied. Her voice cracked. Ethan, what are you saying? I told her everything, him, her, every detail. She tried to speak, tears choking her. It wasn't supposed to happen. He made me feel seen. I didn't know how to tell you. You could have started by not assuming I was blind. I said. She cried, shattered. That night, she packed a bag and left to stay with her sister. The divorce was quiet. No fights, no chaos. Just a slow closing of a door that once opened to everything I loved. Months later, I ran into Grace from HR. Tom had tried to fight the termination, but it backfired. His name was ruined. Sarah had quit as well. I nodded. I hope she finds her way, I said. And I meant it, because somewhere amid the fire, I discovered a strange sense of peace. Sometimes betrayal doesn't end with explosions. Sometimes it ends quietly with acceptance, with the understanding that the person who once felt familiar will never fully be known again. Tom thought I hadn't seen the signs. He mistook restraint for ignorance. He forgot. Quiet men rarely miss much. We simply wait for the right moment to act.